Hey followers, this is your boy, movie maker Doug 55. Today I have my coach and mentor, Andy McPhee, and I also have Tyson Jarvis, who is with his favorite teddy bear, America's favorite teddy bear, Ted. Show him.
Hey.
Yeah, he's a fan of the Ted movies, but let's just,
That's great.
That
Hey,
movies.
thanks, Dougie. And how you going, Tyson?
Yeah, good.
In the live streets of Los Angeles, mate, here. We're doing a live feed from the Real Deal, mate. And you're back in Australia, right?
Yes. Yeah, back in Oz.
It's really hot here, mate. Sorry to tell you that, but oh well. That sucks where you are.
Yeah, it's about 3 degrees at the moment.
So look, thanks, mate, for making the time to come on. It's just after 8 o'clock here in LA, and Doug is in Phoenix, Arizona, and you're in Melbourne. So, just quickly, how we met. I don't know, how long ago was it? Must have been 6 years ago.
5 years, 6 years.
Okay. That's how we met, and I'll let you share a little bit of that later. But Doug, hand it back to you, mate, and let's get this ball rolling.
Yeah. So, I hope that things are turning out well for both of you guys in strange times such as COVID. We're in strange times, but I have hope that things will change eventually. So, Tyson, I'm glad that you joined our show today. So I have a list of questions about your journey, and hopefully you have the answer for them. So what are you doing today, these days?
Well, so at the start of the year, I was really busy. I had about 4 or 5 projects on the go at once, and then obviously COVID happened and basically shut everything down. So I decided to make an isolation film. I have a green screen studio in my house, and I got the idea, and I have 52 actors from around the world, and they're all filming their own scenes, and we're putting together. We're in post-production at the moment, so that's kept me really busy. And I'm fortunate, I've been working at a factory as well, making cream as well, so I've been pretty busy actually.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I'm holding things well during times as this. I'm doing this with Andy McPhee. It's a joint series, and I'm enjoying every bit of it, So what happened exactly that turned your world upside down?
Wow. So going back 5 years before I met Andy, do you mean?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So 2016, I was doing really well. I was in really good physical shape, and mental shape as well. I was getting a lot of roles. I think I did 6 or 7 movie roles in 2016. And then me and my partner, we split. It was a really bad breakup. And then I went off the rails with my bad diet, bad mental health, bad physical health. I think I put on 20 kilos in about, 12 weeks maybe. And then my acting and that suffered as well. And basically everything suffered.
Yeah, to be honest, 2016 was a rough year for me as well. And I spoke about it in my book, From Green Flags to Blue Flags 2, The Amazing Comeback of an Autistic Spokesperson. The only difference between you and I is I didn't have a teddy bear, a vulgar teddy bear that's really annoying.
Thanks for sharing that, Tyson. Just so people watching, there was a lot more to that story, but obviously, we're time's limited on these series because we want to keep them to short. But when Tyson and myself started coaching, it was all for acting, but there was things there that I don't know, didn't sit with me. I thought something wasn't right with Tyson, and I think you could probably share a bit deeper into what exactly those dark periods were, mate, and how you sort of pulled yourself out of that,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, obviously when I was, going down and down, I thought I was as far as you can go down the rabbit hole, and I couldn't see an end. I didn't think there was a way out. And then my good friends and stuff, they started noticing that something was wrong, because I didn't want to be social anymore. I didn't want to spend time with family. Basically didn't want to do anything. And then, yeah, they spoke to mum, and then mum decided to try and set some goals to help me get out of where I was. And one of her goals was to sign up to acting lessons with Andy. Yeah, so that's where I met Andy a little bit before that, but yeah, she signed me up to them. And the first session I had with Andy, he basically said, "What's wrong?" It's like, "What do you mean? What's wrong?" He goes, "We're not going to do any acting work until you tell us what's wrong."
Yep, and that's the same thing he told me when I began training under him. After my rough year of 2016 concluded, I asked my mom if I could inherit Andy's lessons from my brother, because he studied under Andy and he didn't want to do it anymore, and due to circumstances. So I asked my mom if I could inherit my lessons from my brother. And the minute that Andy and I first spoke on the phone, he was like, "What's wrong with you, Doug?" And just like that. And I just like you, I was like, nothing. And Andy said something along the lines of, "Don't give me that bullshit. I know something is wrong."
Exactly the same. And then he made me do a lot. He made me do a lot of things that I didn't want to do. He's like, not like obviously forcing me, but like poetry and stuff like that. I've never sort of done that. I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm depressed. I don't care about anything. Why would I want to do poetry or
and by the way, cursing is allowed on my channel, just so you know.
Oh, good. Awesome. Yeah. But I wrote him a poem, and I did and some art, and he said to me, he grabbed it and he's like, "Dude, this is the darkest shit I've ever seen." And I'm like, that's not good. And then we kept going and going, and it gradually got lighter and lighter, and I sort of looked forward to sort of the life lessons with Andy and sort of how to get out of it. And then he made me write a letter to my ex, and I said, "No fucking way I'm doing that. No chance." He goes, "Dude, you've got to do it." So I wrote her a letter. He says, it's a way to sort of cut all ties, and that's it. He said, "I'm fine now. I'm moving on with my life, and, best wishes to you."
Honestly,
Done.
I have to agree with Andy. I think writing to your ex was probably the right thing, even if it didn't, end well, because you can still cherish the good memories you had together.
Oh, it was a stupid idea, but it obviously worked. So.
And we set up a lot of good. We set up really good habits, and this doesn't always work with everybody. Sometimes people need, assistance in other areas with, psychiatrists or psychology, if it really is not improving. But, we set up better eating habits, getting to the gym, walking every day, like just little simple things like that can just, they just bring life back into your body, and you're gonna go through stuff for a little while, but like you said, you created better habits to be healthier, and even if you didn't want to do it, you did it. And then clearing that relationship with that letter to a parent or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is that you're not dealing with, if you can't have a conversation with, you've got to clear that. And then so it just gives you a little bit of peace, and you're still going to probably hurt a bit here and there, but what did you do after that, Tyson? Like, you started working crazy, man. You were doing 3 jobs. I think, did you end up buying a house and all that?
Yeah. So I was basically, after we started like the scheduling and the routine and me getting up and going, it started with walking and, cleaning my room and little shit like that. Started going to the gym, and then because I started cooking in a restaurant, I started making cream in a factory, and I was working at the post office, and I was doing my acting as well, a couple of sort of different roles. And my goal was to build a house. So now I have a house. I have a fiance. I'm getting married next year.
Right.
That's great.
But,
and honestly,
so, sorry, Doug, go on.
I'm doing similar things that you're doing. I'm at the gym training, I'm bodybuilding, and I
Yeah.
gave up my longtime addiction to soda this year.
Yeah, awesome.
It just changes everything around when you do that. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyson, what advice can you give to people? And remember, this is not a blanket thing. Some people have to take other steps, but if it's, just what you were dealing with and other people dealing financially with things, you can move on beyond those things, but you've got to get the right support and the right help to help you see through that,
Yeah.
So what advice would you give someone who's dealing with sort of similar things to what you dealt with, and it could be any area of their life, that just, what actions were really powerful for you to take to help you move on, and how hard was it for you to do that?
Well, so obviously, yeah, the right support. Like you showed me the door, and obviously you said that I have to walk through the door myself. And it was hard. Like 2 years, I think I struggled for 2 or 3 years of being overweight, and I couldn't get rid of the weight, and I just couldn't move on. You showed me the door, like with writing the letter saying, letting go of everything. And then putting action back in the gym. When I started to look better and feel, I felt better about myself. I was more confident. I was healthier. I could work harder. I could work 100 hours a week because I was so healthy and strong and fit and mental as well. And then obviously, once you're working out every day, you feel that you can walk out and you can conquer the world.
Yeah, that's very impressive, man.
And Doug's doing the same thing. Doug's relentless in his work. Like, he was writing long before I met him, but when I saw what his passion was, we just stuck with that. We just coach on getting his writing better and building his social media up, and doing the things that he loves. And he gets up every day, and now he's making money off Amazon. Like, he doesn't fit into the workforce. He doesn't find that comfortable, and it's a struggle. So he's found another way to earn an income and a career. And over the next few years, I'm sure that he'll be making, a good income from his, being an author and selling his books.
And Andy and I next year I plan to write a follow-up biography to this one with the same title. And I have plans for Andy McPhee to write the foreword for it. And it's going to document more of my professional comeback and how
You want me to write something? I can tell you what to do. It doesn't mean I can do it.
And like you've taught me to think outside the box. Like, I had 4 movie roles at the start of the year. Then COVID started, and I'm thinking, fuck, what am I going to do now? And then, like, if you look here in the corner of my room, I have a green screen studio.
Yeah.
Where I can film my own shit. I've got my gym here, all my cardio equipment. I've got my cinema. I'm thinking outside the box, shit like that.
That's cool, man. Like, that is such a testimony to people who on this series make choices out of their challenges to move forward. And like, you've created everything that you didn't have for what you love, like your fitness, your health, your movies. You've got it all in your home, and you've made it work with COVID. Like, that's insane. Same as what Doug's doing. He's doing everything at home with his writing. So, you've made it work instead of sitting there and, going, oh, well, what am I going to do now? That's amazing.
Next is get that vulgar teddy bear out of your life.
Write a letter to it, mate. Write a letter to the teddy bear.
Yeah, and explain you're too vulgar for me.
I don't like movies. They've got Back to the Future up there.
That's funny. So Tyson, like, that's great, man. Like, it's that was really cool story, and to see where you are now is amazing. And just between you and me and everyone else that's watching, I had that little part in your film that you did with people from all over the world, and that was fun, And now through other things you're doing, I've met another guy in Sydney who called me the other day and said, Andy, I'd really like you in my film. I'll bring you out to Australia next year. But he's also been watching the series, and now he's buying Doug's books on Amazon. So, see, that's the great part about it. When you share things, everything goes around, it helps everybody,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. What's your, just quickly before we finish up, what's your plans for the future, now?
So we're getting married next year. So that's like, which is awesome, exciting. I've got my house already. And just keep working on the films and sort of pursuing and doing, getting bigger budgets and sort of expanding the films that we're making. And because we obviously started really small, we made that first feature where you did a cameo for us for nothing basically. And now we're sort of making 10 grand and blah, blah, bigger and bigger, more crew.
That's cool, man. And what advice would you give to actors? Like, not everyone's going to be able to do, 3 jobs a week and all that. But be honest with actors, man. When you start off, there's times where I've had to do other things on the side, like people are kidding themselves if they think everyone's just going to get in this business, you're going to be working all the time. It's a very small percentage. So what advice would you give to actors when they're starting out in this business to set themselves up with a lot of integrity around what they want to do for their career?
Yeah. What I've found, when I first started acting with my, I sort of went through that first period, nobody would give you an opportunity because you don't have any experience and stuff like that. And then obviously doing it yourself, getting a camera, getting a couple of mates, making a short film, and then networking and meeting other people, then how I met you, and it just keeps expanding and expanding. And you can make bigger things and
Yeah.
So
that's great. That's cool, mate. And sometimes you're going to have to work different jobs, but if you have part-time jobs that you love and you can do it, then you're going to create the career that you want. But you just got to keep at it. You've got to be relentless,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well done, mate. And thanks for sharing that. I mean, that's really powerful to where you are now and what you've set up in your home. It's amazing, it really, really is. So, well, Dougie, I'll leave it to you, mate. You can sign us off, and if you've got any further questions, just throw them.
I have more of a comment. Tyson, you should check out my YouTube channel. At the moment, my most popular video is my interview with the producer of The Prince of Egypt.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yep, Movie Maker Doug 55.
You'll have to anyway, mate, because you'll be on there. You'll have to have a look at your cameo on here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. All righty, we've run out of time. I want to thank both of them. Yep, and
thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, and I want to thank both of you guys for coming on board, and we'll see you next time on Being Relentless and Unstoppable.